It is time to revolutionize your marketing. Welcome to World of Ability Podcast Network. My name is Sue Roskoff, and every Friday, live at 5 Eastern, we have the honor of having John Petros Sr. here to give us all sorts of words of advice and oh my gosh, the best guests ever. You get to meet somebody new with us today. I am so excited to bring in the one and only John Petros Sr. for Revolutionize Your Marketing. John, how are you today?
I'm doing good, Sue. And yourself?
Doing fantastic. Welcome, welcome.
Here we are. And yes, folks, like Sue said, welcome to Revolutionize Your Marketing. Got to give my little spiel there. I do have a great guest today, and anybody who is on Lineable that saw my promotions this week, if you're interested in a book on the border fence, this is the episode to be on. I have a friend of mine, Fran Jessee. Hello, Fran. How you doing tonight?
Hey, John. Absolutely great. Other than being a minute, getting lost with a link, but I'm doing great
It
and I'm glad to be here.
it
Thank you.
happens to the best of us.
hmm
So let's start off. Let people know who you are, where you're from, and some of your background, how you get to do what you're doing.
Oh boy. Well, right now, I'll start currently. I'm basically the founding publisher for Business with Purpose, and we do compilation collaboration books. And now we have an expert series. And how I got there was a long road. Excuse me. I'm sorry. Didn't want to clear my throat in front of everybody. So basically, publishing is kind of like in my blood. I started out in 1971 with my own typesetting business and 9 years, 9 employees that lasted. And from that point on, I didn't go into publishing. I went into entrepreneurship and went into many different businesses from spice blends to Etsy shops to marketing magnets on the internet in 2001, tech company. I mean, I've kept 12 different reinventions of my life. Um, and so when this particular era comes along, and I had a spice and blend business that it was blending spices for health benefits. And like I'd have 25 spices in a blend. And people would say to me, well, I love this, but how do I use it? So this is how I'm going to transition into publishing. They would say, I love this, but how do I use it? And I would have to spend 5 or 10 minutes talking to them and explaining them and educating them. And I said, this isn't going to work. It's not sustainable for a $25 product for over and over again. So I decided to write a book and see if I couldn't get some education in a book so that they could at least have something to read. Okay, so that started me going into using AI at about 4 years ago, which made my research so much easier. And when I finished that book, um, it was a process that I realized how much I loved it. See, when I started out in graphics and printing in the 70s, we did cut and paste, we did triangles, we had dark rooms and negatives, and we had um, metal typesetting, and it was just the front of the photo typesetting era. So in today's world, with all this technology, with Photoshop and then AI coming in to help us do writing and things like that, it's like a whole new world. So I took to it like a duck takes to water because it was an interest of mine, and I found I loved it so much that I had an Etsy shop at the time, which was making a very good living for me, doing wedding magnets, save the date magnets, wedding 50th anniversary invitations, memorial magnets, and the whole gamut in that area. But it was kind of like a no-brainer situation. I felt like I wasn't really using my mind. It was handwork, doing well, but it was really tedious with all the printers. Actually, I have a print shop in here. I haven't quite let go of everything. It's kind of like my fun room. Um, so on with that, when I decided to how much I loved the publishing, I decided to take a jump. I mean, I had been on Alignable for 5 years, gained a nice presence as Fran, the Spice Lady, and I had a good following. And I decided to transition into publishing and just make the jump. Well, 2 weeks after I made that decision in July, I get a call from a client or from a future client saying, "Hey, Fran, I've been talking, remember all these things I've been telling you about me doing, then all these ideas that I have?" And he says, and I'd known him for many years. He wasn't like on Alignable, but he was a business associate. And he says, I have 12 books I want to write and I want to make a world record, Guinness record, to be the oldest man to publish the most amount of books in a year's period of time. Well, he says, I want you to do the project for me. So of course, I mean, can you imagine getting a gift like that 2 weeks after you make a decision to go into a different industry? So it was a gift, it's like there is something in the power of decision. And I have found throughout my life, and not to change the subject here, but every time I get stuck in something and I'm in a dilemma about which direction to go, once I make that decision and I let go, it opens up all the doors that are supposed to open. But until I do,
Yeah.
it's like a nightmare. It's like, shall I do this? Shall I do that? Oh my God, it's not working out very well. But making the decision is partly the hardest part. So back to that part. Now we wound up, this was in July, and we started actually producing the books in like 1st January, because we had that year span, January 31st to December 31st of 2025. Okay, not only did he do the 12 books, but we wound up doing 18 books. He did not go Guinness World Record because it's pay for play, but we made the world record for the oldest man to be published the most amount of books in a year's time. And throughout that process, I got a university education on publishing. We did everything, and I it's such an amazing project, and I'm so proud of it. So this is his attempt, and in the book we have, all these are his different books. So that got me really kicked off, and I'm endless ideas because I love ideas, and so that the getting started with AI allowed me to keep track of my ideas, put them in folders and things like that. And so I started learning so much about AI. I've written a book about it right now, AI for beginners, right? And today, just maybe I'm jumping a little ahead, but today I just published my expert series. We're talking about business with purpose, my own personal expert series called AI for the Tech Challenged. And it's up on Amazon today. And I'm going, wow, so that's my second book, and I've got 60 of these behind it. So that's my transition into publishing. Now, let me talk about, I'll explain business with purpose a little bit. Sue Brook has been a long-time friend of mine, and I'm so sorry she's not here. She lives in Arizona. She travels in a motorhome, and the heat has gotten to be not a good day for this, for her to be on camera. She doesn't have any place to go. So she's figuring that out. So we met about 2014, and we buddied up because in Valencia, California, or Santa Clarita Valley, it was a big networking town, but that was before all of Alignable and everything. We used to go out and in-person meetings all the time. And I come back, and I love to hear all the tech talk. I love to meet people. I collect all these business cards, and I come home with a stack of cards like Sue talks about. And I look at those and I say, you know what? I have no idea what to do with all these cards. I'm not going to be able to do business with all these people. And so I just felt like, why am I going out there and meeting all these people? Because I'm not being able to, I guess, utilize it. But I loved meeting the people, showing up at the meetings. It was my thing. And I wasn't even technical. Okay. I had to learn the computers the hard way. I didn't start even learning a computer until about 1997 or 8, and just kind of weaned my way into it slowly. So Sue and I became pals. We attended meetings together and all over the city, not necessarily driving together, but we were in the same events, became friends. She moves away and grows a different direction, and I went my direction, but keep in touch. And then in 2019 she calls and says, Fran, she says, I'm doing a mastermind every Friday and you need to be on it and get back on Alignable. I actually signed up on Alignable in 2014, but as many people have noted, that for 5 or 7 years, there was nothing going on in Alignable. And then it started to grow
Yeah.
about 2019, 20. It was before COVID, just before COVID. Sue starts the mastermind. We start showing up every week. I start learning more. And what I found with Alignable was a community. It was like my second church. I was able to go places and get answers from people I mean, I'm a solopreneur. I work at home all by myself. Everything that I have ever done has been built because I found a way to do it. I'm not in a community, and my daughter and my son are very techie. So helpfully, I would call them and say, "How can I fix this on the computer?" That was the kind of help I got. But my ideas don't stop. Did you need me to stop?
No,
Okay.
no, go ahead.
So I'm trying to get to a point, I guess. So Sue and I started, she started the Alignable Mastermind and I followed along. And then Sherry came, Sue and Sherry had met in Santa Rosa where she was at the time. And then so I get to know Sherry. So we had this community, and Sue and Sherry, of course, Sue went to work for Alignable. She worked for Alignable, tell her little story here, for Alignable 5 years. She traveled all over the country doing events for Alignable in a motorhome. She put 40,000 miles. I forget how many stops. She's got a map, a state map with all the purple dots of every place she'd stop. She'd stop into Alignable ambassador events, and she actually started helping build that ambassador program. And so she's done a lot. She's was the educator on Alignable for a long time. Sue is one of the biggest influencers on Alignable, has for years. And then along came Sherry, and both those girls are buddies of mine. And so when Sue has always had a dream, we've always talked about doing collaboration books. This has been going on for 5 or 6 years now. And I'm saying, okay, Sue, when you're ready, I'm glad to help, whatever I can do. And we did a few projects, we just did them. I did them for whatever. Sue says, do this, I do it. It's not like we're in a business or a job, but we're buddies. So then comes along, Sue leaves Alignable. They made changes in the company, and she says, I'm going to make my dream happen. And this was back in the fall last year. And so my project that I was talking about, the 18 books that we published, ended January 31st because we made the deadline the first week in December. Okay. So we had a few weeks to, do some more promotion on his books and everything. So I knew that gig was ending, and the timing was perfect. And Sue said, of course, I want you to Sherry and Sue started businesswithpurpose.org as a nonprofit to help small business owners. That's her goal. She just loves to help small business owners. And Sherry Pedrioli is into relationship marketing, so that they're both in tune with each other like this. So I happen to be kind of like in the, there, and it's a know, like, and trust. And so she says, I'm going to do my books, and I want you to be the publisher. We're going to establish a publishing department. And they developed the founding committee, which was the first part of January. And so there was 9 of us, and now there's 8 of us. One of them wasn't able to stay on. But and today we had this fabulous meeting of actually doing more organization. We're the Business with Purpose .org organization is a nonprofit helping small business owners. And we have a community on Alignable. Please go join Business with Purpose. You'll find a lot of friendly people there. It's more in tune with net referral marketing than it is for Alignable now, which is mostly Smart Connects. So since I have been working with Sue on this, we built the first book, and John, you're in it. Okay. Our first book was the, yes, John's right. Sorry, I didn't.
I'm on the back page.
No, you're not.
Yeah, I am. I didn't make the cover. I made the back page. The back.
Oh, because you didn't have four. Okay, you didn't have anyway. You are in the book. I'm my shady memory here. So, but then we got that book done in two months. Between gathering 42 authors to have 3 months, it published 42 authors, and then we were off and running with another one of Sue's dreams of the Expert Series. And these are the little books right here, the Expert Series, Business with Purpose. This one happens to be Sue's book. I don't have, we've got 3 or 4 more published. I'm waiting to come in. But hers is Attract the Right Customers. It's a very short book, and that's what we're working on now is an Expert Series. Um, so,
Which I will be in one of the expert books because I already have the cover done.
oh, that's right. Sue sent that to you.
Yeah.
And Sue is a marketing machine. I'm the back end. Okay. I keep hopefully keep all the communication going. I work with the authors and their stories, and that's what I love to do. I'm a maker, not a marketer, so we make a great team. And John has been part of our first book, and John and I have become, buddies on our meetings. He comes and I'm learning a lot more technically now on getting my face in front of people because I've always been shy in that respect. I still am, but it's like I have to rise up to the occasion. And we had a meeting today in BWP and we're splitting off into teams. And so they said, which one do you want to be networking, um, fundraising, or marketing? And so marketing is not my forte, but I took the hard one because I have to learn. So it's like I have to, if I stay in a comfort zone, it doesn't seem to be my best place to stay, so I don't grow
Yeah.
very much that way. And I might have missed a few details, but I hope I brought you up to date with kind of how I got here.
Yeah. So you covered some of the things I was going to ask.
Okay, I'm sorry. I
Um,
wasn't sure how you meant for me to
there
how
was
much.
a question there was a question I was going to ask Sue, but I'll ask you. I know it's Sue's favorite question.
Okay.
How does a book help your business to grow?
Oh my goodness. Well, as far as writing a book, a lot of people think they're going to make a lot of money. It's really not about making money with your book, selling the book. You make your money by being you write the book, you become the authority. People look at you in a different way as an author. I had a cold last week, so I've still got some little bit of leftover. So and they look at you in a different way because when people ask Sue's she tells a story. When she first did her first book, it was a compilation book and her pictures on the cover. She went to mail them to her father and they were on the counter of the post office. And a lady walked up and said, "Is that you? Are you an author?" And she felt like a rock star, right? So a book creates a whole different viewpoint of your own self. It raises your endorphins, it raises your vibrations. There's so much to it when you actually get your story out of yourself, you get it on paper, you put it in a book, and then you see it live. Um, I have other books I've written, and I had to order. I keep giving them away. So I have my Spice Lady book. When I first got that book in, it was like I melted because this
Yeah.
was a big accomplishment. So it's a business card. It's more like a business card. You hand it to people, and when they, instead of leaving a business card and you want to make an appointment for somebody in a big contract or a big something, you have a big you're looking for a large account or something, mail them the book ahead of time. You'd have much better chance to be chosen or looked at than everybody in the in the room with the same resume. So
Yeah.
yeah.
That's what I'm looking at when I do my expert book.
Yes.
Those are good for that because the entire book is actually more room to explain about what I do and things. Um, but then again, I have this book that I started 3 years ago. I've been rewording it. It's been sitting on my desk for the last year and a half. doing nothing. And coming out in this other book put me back in the mood to get that book out.
Mhm.
And you and Sue have a pretty good system set up for that, don't you?
Absolutely. The first time through, we did it. We set up the system with bringing the authors in and setting up the Google Docs and all of the information we had to have, all the graphics she makes for the promotions and the bestseller campaigns, and everything that we do for these books. It's not just write a book and put it out there. We actually try to promote you and get your image in front of people is onlineable, Facebook, LinkedIn, wherever we have access to promote right now. So we the process is we intake and then I work with the authors, and we went through the first time and we found that it worked, and now it's time to get the system in place. So Sue and I've been working for about a month on the back end, revising the system for more automation, because now we can see that this model was successful. It's working. So now we have to get it ready for, we're working on a campaign for 100 authors in 100 days. We can't handle that much unless we're automated with just running through the information. So there's still a lot of little
Yeah.
kinks that we have to work out. But, I believe that we'll find our way along the way, because we have not only help, but Sue and I work as a synergistic team. We're not 9-to-5ers. I mean, I have a personal life, yes, but however, I love working. I love these challenges, so it doesn't bother me to put in hour after hour at the times when it's needed.
Yeah, exactly. Um, and like this first book that I'm in, the with the 42 authors, I ordered 20 of them.
Mhm.
I have approximately 11 left.
Tell me about why you only have 11 left. I know that story. You tell them.
Well, another author in the book, Chuck Castro, lives about 20 miles, 25 miles from where I am. And we went to a alignable in-person event in Waltham, Mass, which is probably a very large alliance in the greater Boston area. My alliance is up here in northern Mass and southern New Hampshire. Well, me and my co-ambassador, we teamed up with the Boston Alliance, and we kind of like work together. So we go to his events. He hasn't come up to mine yet, but that's something I need to work on. And me and Chuck got together, not this month, last month, and we did a book signing. We we had the ambassador there gave us the time to talk about the book. So I talked about it first, and then I turned it over to Chuck, and he spoke about the book, and we ended up selling. Well, we sold 6 books and gave one away because Chuck handed the guy the book after we autographed him, and the guy turned around and left. Chuck goes, that's all right. So, yeah, these books are great for that. I did it again this month at the event, but I was cut off from when I was talking. They only allowed 45 seconds because there was so many people there. You can only say so much in 45 seconds. So before I said I had the books that I could autograph, I was cut off. But I sold one of them last week, so that was good. Um, but yeah, I've got 11 left, and so far I've made my money back on them. So I don't care what I make on these.
Mhm. Well, they're not necessary to make money, but it's a joy to have somebody want to buy a book to read your story.
Yeah, it is. It is.
And there's
I mean,
42 author stories in there, and they're all compelling. They're all different, and they're all about purpose. They're all about how a person started their business, why they started the business, and what happened throughout their journey, and what they're doing now. And it's not a pitch book, it's more of a storybook. And you do have your information in
Yeah.
there. So when people resonate, they can contact you.
Yeah. And why don't you explain about the other compilation books that are in place?
Okay, the other ones the new ones we have?
Yeah.
Okay. We have 4 new titles on the compilation part. One is the Women's Entrepreneur Book for women. One is the Reinvented Entrepreneurs. That is a lot of people are in that category. I mean, most of us have reinvented ourselves many times. In my case, I said 12 or 14. I mean, I have to go back and look again. But most people are coming out of corporate and then reinventing themselves, having to start over again, not necessarily having to, but being bored and wanting to start something. So they completely reinvent themselves. And many people have bounced through things like I have and had many. So that book is going to be is going to be very successful. We've got a lot of people that are coming into it and in it, and it'll and then there is the Veterans Book. This is the 250th anniversary of the United States, and what a better time to have a Veterans
Yeah.
Book, Veterans Mission Entrepreneur Book. So these are stories of veterans that came out of service and went into business and applied their discipline and everything else that they learned in the service into their entrepreneurship and are successful business owners, small business owners, entrepreneurs, etc. And then we have the pet business, okay? The pet business book. Yeah. And this is about pet stories, or not pet stories, I'm sorry. It's about pet business owners and how they started their pet business. And it's the sweetest thing because on the cover, we'll see the picture of the person with their little animal if they favor their animal. It's all about entrepreneurs in the pet business. And we will have different topics like RV entrepreneurs, ongoing. There's 100 different topics we could go to, working on a few at a time. And then we have the expert series, which is really taking off. That's the single books, individual books for individual people. And that's totally very exciting. That's a whole process. We actually have a story builder, so you don't have to really know your story. You just input your information and what you know about yourself and your bio and all the things that you want it to know about you, about your story, or write your story for you. And we have the same thing for the collaboration books. You don't have to be a writer. We make it so simple for you that you love if once you get through that process, you go, oh my God, look at that, So I've been through this so many times and I'm so amazed.
And just so people know, this first book, it came out print. When it came out in the print, it was already #1 on Amazon, correct?
Well, we made it in #1. So we collaborated with everybody. See, the difference in having a book like this when you have 42 authors is everybody gets behind it and buys it. Okay? When you
Yeah.
have one of the issues of writing your own book and trying to make it happen is you don't have the network behind you to build that community to go out and buy the book in a certain period of time to raise your status on how many positioning on the position of what place that book is on to get to #1. And so we were able to do that, and took us from midnight Friday till 8:30 Saturday night to do it. And those are things that we're going to be doing for this is working with the author on a bestseller campaign. It's not going to be totally our responsibility like this one was, but we need their help with their contacts, and we will process the process of the bestseller campaigning. So that's another thing that we're offering in that. So there's many benefits, and you give these out to people, and you're the authority. It's better than a business card. So if that's
Yeah.
answers any questions.
Now, there's already a couple of those expert books out. How long did it take to get those out?
Well, Sue and Jeff Anderson were the first, okay? Actually, Jeff beat Sue in a week. We
One
had it
week.
published in a week. I just put mine up last night. I finally got it published. Of course, I wrote it myself, and I spent, I had the opportunity to, well, between the time that a person starts writing their book and maybe half a day to get the content down, and then they turn it over to us. And we were rushing on these. They can be done in 1 to 2 weeks. And I think the normal time would be anywhere from 7 to 10 days. That would be normal. Where your normal books, if you're writing, take 30 days, 60 days, 90 days. It depends on your publisher or
Yeah.
if you're self-publishing, there's all kinds of factors that go into it. But we do all the uploading on Amazon. It's your book. It's actually published under your name, and you can put it on your author page. Has a lot of advantages.
Yeah. Well, I can tell you my paragraph in that collaborative book, from from the story I sent into you and what you sent back to me, yours was a hell of a lot better.
It was what? Pardon me?
Yours was a hell of a lot better.
Oh, oh, that. I touch him up. I touch him up. Okay. That's my forte.
Yeah.
For the reader experience, it's called, some formatting and lightweight editing. We don't change your story. We just try to make sure that it flows and it's all,
Yeah.
a professional.
Yeah. And when you sent it back to me for the final okay, I'm reading it. I said, wow, this is better than what I wrote.
Good.
But yeah, but if it wasn't for you and Sue putting this first book together, my other book would still be sitting here on my desk untouched.
Okay. Well, keep it moving. Keep it
And
moving.
yeah, I'm just looking at the financial part of it right now, which is really not a bad price for putting a book out. I've talked to other people that have done books, and what they told me that they've paid for publishing was ridiculous.
Yeah. It's all over the board.
Um,
It's all over the board.
but anybody out there who doesn't think they have a book in them, my advice is to sit down when a thought about what you've done, what you've gone through, write it down on a list, sit down every so often, read through the list, and you'll find yourself writing a book.
More than likely.
Everybody has a story, and um, a lot of it is just sitting down and thinking about some of the things you've gone through. And
Mhm.
not necessarily even a business book like most of these are. Um, I have another book here that I've worked on. I have to probably do the last chapter, and it's a kid's bedtime storybook.
Okay.
Um, yeah, I did use AI to help lay it out.
Hmm.
I put it into my own words. I do have to
Hmm.
change the names in it because I did it because my wife does daycare.
Hmm.
So I did it as like a gift for the kids to take home for their parents.
Oh,
So
really?
I put the kids' names in it, and I put my wife's name and my daughter's name. She helps with the kids, and I just put it into ChatGPT saying, I put the names in. I said, yeah, in the daycare, and these are the people, and I wanted to be in a park in Lowell, and it gave me a scenario where the kids are playing in the park, and they find this little stone archway in the corner covered over with brush, with bushes and things. And they peeked through, and it really looked amazing to them. So they went through, and in the process, they found a little box beside a stone. They opened up the box, and it was a glowing stone, a magical stone. So then they were called back. So they took the stone with them in the box, and they kept the stone. And I said, "Wow, this is really amazing. What happens if I put like a certain holiday in?" So all the following chapters, the same scenario, and it says a park in Lowell, Mass. And everything they find relates to the holiday, and they take it home with them. And the last chapter so far, I didn't put the name in there. It put a name of a park. And that park actually exists in Lowell. And all I can think is when this book gets out and kids hear about it, and then they're going to try and convince their parents to come to Lowell to this park to look for a magical corner. Problem is the park exists, but it's between a canal and the high school, and there's really no magical corner. But what I'm going to do for the last chapter is take everything that they found, have them put it all together, and having something really magical happen. And the funny thing is, being a kid's book, you need pictures, right? About a year and a half ago, my wife got me hooked on this app on my phone. It's a painting app. And there's a lot of pictures I have saved on my phone now from that app that will fit right in this book. So I've already got the graphics done. That's how simple it is to do a book, folks.
It's a beautiful process.
It is. Um,
Congratulations for getting that far. I'm happy to hear that. I think it's a delightful story. It must be a good tool for the kids to learn ongoing, turning those pages to find out what's next.
Would that be something you'd be interested in getting put out?
Oh, of course. I mean, I can absolutely. I mean, I'm not pushing my services, but that's something I do.
Yeah.
So, you know, I believe in the person wanting to work with me. I don't pursue work. It's just like, because there's so many people that do what I do, that everybody has a different everybody's different prices. Everything's so different. I love, I'm very grateful to be kept busy on that. However, I do have my author came back with 3 more books, which I'm working on now. Okay, he's so prolific. So he just came back and he said, "Well, are you still working?" And I said, "Yes, of course." So, and he's 88 now, and he's 3 more books. Wow. So it's in this idea. See, I taught him ChatGTP. I also teach AI, okay, and chat, and so he got a second. Second, okay. So when we started working together, he would ask me all these questions, and I'd have to send a document to give him these wonderful answers. And he was just in awe about all the information I was able to give him when he'd ask me a simple question, because information is key. He needs information to make decisions on this way, that way, this title, that title. And so finally one day when he asked me a question, it was so it's kind of like the same thing and very simple that difficult to get a lot of answers on. So I said, "David, are you sitting at your computer?" "Yes." "Okay, go open this chat thing, open this browser, sign in, go to this area where it says ask a question, and I want you to ask it a question." And he says, and he did it. And he went, "Oh my God." Okay. And he hasn't stopped since. He started writing his own books. Okay. Didn't need me for a ghostwriter, although his chat does not come out like book finished. It just comes out with the ideas and the concept. I finish it all off for him. But he had 3 years, 3 continents of material to work from. I don't write the book for them. I ghostwrite, what they call taking people's content and working it out so that comes to be in book form. He had 3 continents: England, Canada, and 88 years, in the United States in entrepreneurship. So quite a lot of material to work with and through. So it was a feat. So in that respect, the process is different for everybody, but it's a lot of fun. So I encourage anybody to just go and ask some questions into chat. You can start with ChatGPT. 90% of the people already know about this, so I'm not telling them. But the reason I wrote the book for AI for the challenge, and I kept asking chat, like I say, okay, do you think this is really needed today? And because I thought everybody knows about this, and there are still people I run into when I meet on one-to-ones on Alignable that say, well, are you using ChatGPT for any of your oh no, I write my own. Says I'm not, there are 3 or 4 people I've run across that just have not jumped yet. So this is kind of to ease the pain, that it's not anything to be afraid of. So I said, and I read the book myself, and what it told me, my first book, I went back and I it helps me write it. So, and I said, this is so boring. I don't feel like anybody would be really feel like they're getting anything out of this. And it told me, it says, talks to me, right? It says, Fran, that's because you're a pro at it now. They're not. They've never been through this before. And I had to come down to remember that. Because here I'm reading what I put in. I put all the contacts in and everything else, and had it help me with the wording and the processing of the order that it went in, and that's what it helps me do. But when it came up with the input that I gave it, and it came back in such a simple way. But there are people out there that need that, and it assured me over and over and over again that, because why would anybody not know about this today? Well, there are people that don't, for one reason or another.
Yeah.
It's not going
Well,
away. So
I'm gonna see if Kurt wants to come in and ask some questions. I call him my co-host. It's his network, but I
okay.
call him my co-host. Kurt, are you available out there in the background? Here he
There
is.
he is. Hi, Kurt. You're on mute.
You're muted.
Muted. Oh my gosh, look at that. Yeah, I'm a rookie.
All right. I was late getting in.
Yeah. All good, all good. The old thing, better late than never. And yeah, I was talking to my wife Sue that I've been that person that's the day gets away on you, and then all of a sudden you're like, oh, now I got to look for the link, and then it takes you a while to find the link. So I've had the grace. That's just how this all works, right? That
I set an
we,
alarm clock.
we
I get so busy and
we're
distracted.
doing it all together. We all got our own skills, talents.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what do you
All right.
got?
So, Fran, tell me, what's that? What did you say, John?
Go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry. All right. All right. So, Fran, I'm looking at this story unfold with John that he's one of your authors. And, I've been, with the show in the past months, he's been raving about it. He's obviously very excited and proud and, just quite a thing to be able to share with people. Can you tell me, because I help people with podcasting like I am now. So I'm just kind of supposing this rewarding feeling that you get, and it's a new life experience when you give someone a media. I have somebody who also does in the realm or in the direction of what you do, like helping authors get their books going and stuff like that. And what this other firm told me, this other publishing group, they say that when you publish a book, in terms of the notoriety and the position that gives you and the way it's received by people out there, readers, and people just know you got a book, kind of like when I help entrepreneurs get a podcast, it's a something. But I'm told that it's second only to being in a film. So, like, if John wanted to go in the world and be grander as a guy who helps businesses, he'd have to go out and get in a movie, which I want to see that, John, if you could do that. But Fran, how are you experiencing this? The uplift to people and just kind of in the industry, being in this expertise and being able to provide what you provide. How do you find it self-rewarding and kind of what are you gathering from folks like John that are your authors? What is this all doing for them? Just uplifting their work?
Well, I'd say it's different for everybody. Some people use it as a tool and some people don't do anything with it. It all depends on how you use it. And it opens doors to podcasts. It opens doors to new clients. If the old Sue, I refer to Sue a lot because she has the expressions that resonate with people. That talking about if you were going out to hire a plumber, then you would, if one plumber had written a book about plumbing and the other person was just a regular plumber, he had a regular business, which one would you choose? You would look at the plumber with the book as the expert, and he would be the one that you actually, more than likely, not for everybody, but you would choose because of the knowledge that he would have behind writing a book. Okay. So, and it opens so many doors. You can use it as tools for leaving a business, leaving it. If you go to a drawing, leave your book in there, and there somebody will say, say, who left this book in here? And they talk about the cover. It'll open doors for speaking engagements. People want to, if like even in your case, Kurt, if you're looking for authors, and which one would you choose? People that wrote a book, or if you had the choice between the two of them, they would have more to talk about if they had it in their in writing, or possibly. I'm not everybody. I'm not speaking for everybody, but so the opportunities are a little bit more. There's a lot more. We have a list of 50 opportunities you can use your book for. You can take them to. You can leave them in the back of the airplane pocket. Somebody that some famous person, Sue, was it? I don't remember who it was this morning. It was,
I don't remember.
Sykes, anyway, left his book in the back of an airplane pocket. He had written several books, and somebody picked it up, and now he's had movies made out of his books because somebody got his attention. You never know. There's another thing where you go into a bookstore. These are little tricks, okay? You go into a bookstore and they don't carry your book, but you put it next to somebody famous. Like today we had somebody in our meeting show us in his background. He says he had his book next to Tony Robbins. He says he's got Tony Robbins' book here and there, and we all laughed at him. But that's true. If you put your book up in the bookstore next to somebody, people might pick it up and say, take it to the counter and say, I'd like to buy this book, and they don't have it, so they may add it to their inventory. There's all kinds of little things that you can do with your book if you want to get your exposure. We have a list of 50, like I said, 50 options in how to use your book. So anybody interested in all that stuff, I'm glad to send it if they send me their information. So did that help any?
I like one that Sue says that she does. Sometimes when you go to these events, they have buckets where people throw their business cards in.
Mhm.
She throws her book in.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when somebody goes in and reach out to pull out a card for like a door prize or something, they say, hey, whose book is this?
Mm-hmm.
It gives you the opportunity to say, oh, that's fine. Let me tell you about it.
It's another world. It's a personal journey. You can do many things with it. You can do something with it, or you can stop there and
Yeah, so Fran, in the lane of what you're doing with this work, I'm thinking of a group that I've been connected with for a few decades, ACAP. They help their members make an imprint in their community around local here. But there's this thing of legacy where our work transcends beyond our lifetime. Where do you see that for you, Fran? What are you leaving for us? What is your gift to all the population of the planet, if we so choose to receive that from you? What is that for you, Fran?
Get your story out of you. Get it out of your head. That's what I'm here to help people get their story out of their heads. Whether you use it to publish, whether you don't do anything with it, whether you print a book, whatever you do, get your story out of you. The healing that you get from telling your, maybe even if they're deepest, darkest secrets, they keep this all inside them. It's an emotional thing. I have a lady right now. We're conversing. She has a story she's really afraid to bring out. And not that we're trying to talk her into it, it's totally her choice. But when somebody else reads a story like maybe she's got, which she has confided in me, and that may help somebody else. I say, oh my God, I never knew that, anybody else felt that way or did that or went through that. So that's my purpose right now, it's not about me. It's about them. It's about your book. Okay. It's about me helping you pull your story out of you. So, it brings tears to my eyes when I think about what it can do for somebody. Yeah.
Yeah, it's really great. And, I have a mantra that we use here on our network. People with disabilities are masters of ability. And when I think about the work you do, the media of a book, because like right now we're on podcasts. So the thing like with John, it's kind of like, hey, John, it's good that, people who have, hearing where they can listen to us gab. That's great. But what about those who are deaf and hard of hearing? We can take the script from Zoom, the transcript and attach it to, the show. But I just say for the community of folks who are deaf or hard of hearing, the book media is great because it's all visual, right? So have you ever thought of your work that way, that you're doing a great thing for the community of folks who are deaf or hard of hearing?
No. I mean, I've been so focused on what we're doing that, see, I have a whole new world opening up to me too. Okay. Because not only I've collected books all my life. I'm not new to the book world. However, in getting and understand, I'm not a youngster. I'm 80. I'll be 82 in July, right? So I have a lot of wisdom behind me, and now I want to use that wisdom to help other people bring out their lives. 50, 40, 50, 60, 70 years old. Okay, there's a lot inside people that they could have a lot earlier to get to move past some of the blocks that they have, or use it as an additional tool for their business, and they can go on to write other books, because one will spur a new idea. Like John's got a couple of ideas behind in his arsenal. I have about 6 books in folders that I'm going to write, plus 16 AI books. So it's never ending. You've always got the creative going. It sparks creativity out of you.
Yeah, fantastic.
Yeah.
So Fran, I want to give you a sincere thank you, with what you've done and exactly what you've been saying with our friend John here. Because I'll tell
Yeah.
you what, I've experienced, I think I'm trusting you've seen it too. When I got introduced to John through Sherry Wallace of Let's Be Trees, and this guy came on here and we did great work, with Let's Be Trees and Sherry, and the podcasting we were doing with her, that was the stepping stone that now he's doing his own podcasting. And like I say, when that book came out, boy, he was like a kid presenting in kindergarten class, like show and tell, like look at what we,
Oh my
but
God.
John's spirit is like with you, Fran, it's like a contagious thing, that John's purpose sharing it on this podcast is like you just said, Fran. If any of you watching, listening out there have a story inside of you, you got Fran and John here. I'm learning right along with you folks. I haven't written a book yet. This is how I get
Yeah,
my story
yes,
out there. But
yes.
there you go.
I
Wow.
mention it all the time when I'm on Smart Connects. I mention to people that I'm in the breakout rooms with almost all the time.
Mhm. John is very prolific in his speaking and very supportive. One of our most highly supportive person, and we're very well loved in the community. Absolutely, and that is a
That's
community.
why
John, go ahead.
that's why I have this up in back of me.
Yeah, it's not just a book publishing system; it's a community. We're building a community of authors, like-minded people that stick together, refer each other, get to know each other. I have a Smart Connect every Tuesday for authors only, where the authors of our books come in and chat with each other and go into breakout rooms on the Smart Connect. And we haven't got a lot of authors right now yet. We've only got 50 or 60 right now. So we're going to build to hundreds, and we will have more people coming into our community. So but they come and they chat, and we go into rooms and they learn about each other. It's a community. It's heartwarming. Mhm.
Absolutely. And speaking of communities, we had our friend Kiza, who is on here. He's part of our work with Spirit of the Game Foundation. He oversees refugee camp, Kakuma Refugee Camp out in Kenya. So that's part of the magic we create here. Think
Wow.
of 300,000 people now all of a sudden being given that invitation, being out there in Kenya on a refugee camp, 300,000 of them together in community, and to be able to say that can be part of our work here is to find out who all wants to author there. In about 13 hours, there's going to be a performance, by the Youth Empowerment Training Center. But they do these programs for, in fashion, in drama, in music, and dancing, and, so performing arts. And they do it for hours. All these youth performers, doing their thing. So yeah, it's a lot of fun what we do here, all the culture and how all the pieces fit together. So thank you, Fran, for bringing to this stage what you do and the power of books, the power of reading. John, we're in the concluding minutes here. How do you want to finish this one off? This is quite a signature. We got to put a pretty bow on this and wrap it up with pretty wrapping paper and all the things.
I just want to mention one thing. Fran, when did the group start? Business with a purpose on a
About
line of it.
about January 1st of this year.
Right now, I just checked it on my phone. There is, whoops, stupid phone. There is 5,733 members in the group.
Mhm. And we just brought in 2 more team members today.
So that's a lot of people to join in the group. That's how fast this group is growing. Correct. And Kurt, with as many veterans groups that you work with, how many of them veterans are interested in getting their story out in a book?
That we've kind of connected with, maybe 8 to 12 at this point, and we haven't even touched things. They haven't really we were working very heavily on the system, getting that in place that before we started, so we kind of lost a little bit of momentum in that book, but we're rolling again, and people are coming in and actually submitting their positioning and bringing in orders, bringing in their commitments. So we're rolling.
The marketing person in me is coming out now. Kurt, how many veterans do you have access to that would be interested in getting a chapter in the book?
That I personally have access to?
No, I'm asking Kurt.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, no problem. Well, I mean, first of all, I don't want to speak for veterans out there, but the way I experience these things is, it can easily be a growing vertical, as we say in business. But in terms of the veteran community, I think veterans, or the way I would approach it, is to help them figure out what story they want to tell. Because they might want to tell a story that's got nothing to do with them being a veteran, type of thing. But they definitely have a veteran story. Because like what we do at Project Die Hard, part of our nonprofit management approach is that, we don't exploit, the pains or the stories or anything of veterans for driving our mission or to grow or whatever. It's always like veterans, will share when they're ready to share. But to your point, John, is there's
Yeah.
definitely an opportunity, to offer experiences for veterans to go into the semantics and the process and,
Yeah.
kind of give them a demonstration and walk through so that they can start to think it through. Like, okay, is this something I want to do? Because
Yeah.
veterans are in a culture where, because of the atrocity in our country and, in this routine of promises made and, veterans sitting there holding the bag, not having things delivered. I hate to use this term, but, to use cliches, can say gun shy. Veterans are gun shy to
Yeah.
move on anything. And they even have a mantra that they learn in military called BLUF, BLUF, bottom line up front. So it is a particular
Yeah.
pathway to make that connection with the vet. But once a vet, so like Fran, you're mentioning a few vets, that's what I've learned is that peer invitation is like 1,000 times stronger than like me inviting it. I'm not a veteran. So, but if a veteran is saying,
Yeah.
hey, I'm a veteran, and like in sales, you say, feel, felt, fine, found. I know how you feel. I felt that way before. And this is what I found with Fran. This is what I found with John. But really to give that kind of example demonstration where now you give that direct contemplation for a veteran to get their story out, that's where I would
Yeah.
believe it would start happening. So I'd be more than happy. I'd enjoy that process. And we could make this whole thing partnered with Project iHeart, projectiheart.org, my favorite veteran service organization.
I was thinking more in the line of like the veterans that run the organizations, which could be considered business, even nonprofit, if they would be
Yeah,
interested in
so
getting a
like
story
let's
about their
take
nonprofits out.
yeah, so let's take Brian Gibson. If you go on to projectiheart.org, you're learning of a story there that he did choose to share online, and he from time to time shares little nuggets of his story. But how much he wants to be like, sharing the book. But when you say about the nonprofit, he'd love that idea, but like with Project
Mhm.
iHeart, we're in the red.
Yeah.
So what you're proposing has a cost, so the value to us right now would be to say right now what gets in the way of this happening is not enough people donating.
Mhm.
So if you can pray for us,
Yeah.
share the mission, spend time with us, and be a part of this interest to get the Project iHeart story out there more and to donate. We're running a telethon on July 23rd. So people can come in and help the success of a telethon, which has a parent and youth theme, but as we aggregate dollars, we're looking to raise $36,000 through helpopedia.org. We need to bundle it in to our current activity and see if our supporters give the response that would flip the switch that we got the budget to do it, because it's a no-brainer. We want to do it. We just don't have the dollar to put on the table. But give us 8 weeks. Maybe the world would respond financially, and we're off to the races. And the project, I would enjoy telling my part of it for what I did the last 3 years. So I say let's do it, and let's help the other veteran service organizations do it. Because like Jason McNamara with the No More 9 to 5 Club with veteran philanthropy, he's a guy that's not shy to get into what you guys are talking about. So yeah, let's talk shop and make it happen. I love it.
Trying
Well,
to trying to
that's
get that
pretty
book
amazing.
out for you, Fran.
Do what?
I'm trying to get that book out for you in the
Oh,
month of July.
well, I just want to say one thing. There's two ways to go with those stories. There's a story of their experience through their being a veteran and their life and what they went through. And there's also the stories of their coming out and going into some kind of a business and building something from that. So there's two ways to go with that as far as the kind of books to do. And we do have somebody named Robert Tuttle. He's one of our members. He actually interviews veterans and gets the kind of stories and documents them. And he's got an organization that is behind him, and he does one every couple of weeks. I can put you in touch with him. He would be an amazing person for you to know for the actual videoing. He videos them. So we're gathering, momentum.
You know him, don't you, Kurt?
Yeah, yeah, I have been with him explaining how he gets these videos out. I learned about it all, shared the enthusiasm to move forward like I'm here. So with the situation, yeah, if you want to update him on, what we've been jawing on about in this podcast and see if he wants to put something together that we can actually do something, I would love that opportunity. Absolutely.
I'm not sure what his agenda is and what he really gets out of it and why he does it. I really haven't. I just know what he does. So I have more questions to ask. But if you're open to me communicating with him, I'd love to. He'd probably love to hear about something new. So,
Yeah, because
and
like I say, I mean, if he
Yeah.
comes in to move forward on this and he wants to come in for a few minutes on our telethon and explain what his role is, and kind of like I say, with our reaches, our combined reaches out to our spectating and listening audience,
so
that's what I'm working on the next 6 weeks.
wow. And this is in the veterans area?
Well, Helpopedia supports all parents and all youth. Project Die Hard is attaching to it because of veterans who are parents, and then as parents concerned for their youth, and being a child of a veteran has some particular nuances that it makes sense to us to kind of come in with that particular consideration. Yeah.
Well, I'm going to go and do some studying on you, okay, and your organization, so I have more insight because this is all new to me here. So I'm grateful to be introduced and the opportunity for exposing what we do because we're all about getting stories out of your head and helping people. But so if I can help, we're totally open.
Sounds great.
So,
John, over to you.
Fran, if people are interested in getting a hold of you, Fran, what's the best way to get a hold of you?
Just you can go to my Gmail just directly, or if you it's the easiest way would be my name, Fran Jessee with 2 E's at Gmail, easy, or publishing at businesswithpurpose.org, businesswithpurpose.org. Either way, I get those emails, and if they have questions, I can send them any information. And please note that this is where you came from if you do happen to contact me for any reason. And I hope that this relationship grows. Kurt and John, thank you for the opportunity to find out about you guys more because there's a lot of alignment. And I wish, Sue would be delighted to hear about this. She would have a lot more to say about it than I would, Kurt. So
Well,
she's the spokesman in the market, Sue.
in the email she sent me today, she did say she will probably be able to make it in 2 weeks
Okay.
to,
Yeah,
to
she's
come
going to
on.
have a
So,
place to stay. She's got plans. Yeah.
yeah.
So we're going to be, by the way, we have an event happening in Arizona. You're not going to be able to be there. You're way back east, but June 13th in Scottsdale, Arizona, we're having an event for 3 or 4 alignable ambassador groups coming together on Saturday from 10 to 2. And it's going to have author signings and we're going to have events and it's going to be a real big hoopla. So if anybody's in the Scottsdale area and is under, they're welcome to come. You don't have to be an alignable member. Just come and join the fun. So that's something that we're going to be doing in next weekend. And I'll be in Arizona meeting all kinds of new people that I haven't met. I know all these people online, and it's wonderful to be able to meet 10 or 12 of them in person now. So where are you located, Kurt?
Yeah.
Where are you?
I'm plumb in the middle of the closest place on earth to heaven you can get, Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
Okay. And to heaven that you can get. Oh, that's beautiful. Okay. I'm in the
Yeah.
desert near Palm Springs. So I'm in I've got a totally different environment than you do. I love Wisconsin. It's green, lots of apples. And yeah, it's beautiful.
Well, I basically hope 8 billion people can be as close to heaven on earth as you can get. Everybody's got their own flair of what heaven on earth is. So I just say it to motivate people to kind of come into their space in that same flair. So
You have a beautiful
it's
voice.
gone on in some rooms. I've been in some Zoom rooms where like the other person's like, well, I think we're pretty good at, being as close to heaven on earth as you. I'm like, you're right on. That's what I want. Yeah, there you go.
Be present.
And now
That's
I'm here
right.
in New England, and I believe me and Chuck are the only two authors up in this area.
Right now,
So
yes.
I can look for other authors from up here to get
Oh,
involved.
we've got them New York, Wisconsin, Florida, California, Arizona, New Mexico, South Dakota. I mean, the
Yeah.
United States got 50 states. So
So
we're trying to
me
cover
and
them
Chuck,
all.
me and Chuck will keep doing our book signings.
Love Chuck. He was, so there's so many unique people in our group. And nice to meet you,
he's
Kurt.
Chuck's been
Yeah,
on
you
this
too.
podcast twice, and he's looking for a third.
Oh, he
Yes, so
loves to talk.
my question is do we have to spell words differently for our friends from Boston? And the way they
No,
say words, it's like, are they spelled different, or how does that work?
no. But hey, at least I got my website fixed on my background.
Okay. It's beautiful.
It had a P in where the other S is supposed to be for some reason. But it's unique. Business is spelled with one S.
Oh, that's right. That's right. We actually had a little issue with that in your book. I forgot about that because he insisted. We kept changing it to two S's, thinking it was a mistake, and he kept saying, "No, it's not." And Sue was just going crazy, saying, "No, it's got to be spelled right." So stay unique and make people think about it.
Yep. I
Okay.
actually had somebody that actually typed it in to open my website, and they said, "Hey, it doesn't work." I said, "How many S's did you put in business?" Two. Yeah, just well, go back and take one out. And they got a kick out of it. So hey, it lightens the load.
Mhm.
But so yeah, if anybody's interested in coming on my podcast or getting a hold of me for marketing and any media, radio, TV, I got it all now.
Wow, John, one
Get a
way to
hold of
grow.
me.
Aren't
You
all,
can get a hold of me by my email. It's millcitymarketingma@gmail.com. My website, like you see up here, is millcitybusinesshelp.com with one S.
Mhm.
Um, look for me on pretty much any social media page. I have a page out there either under my name or under Mill City Marketing MA. Those are the best ways to get a hold of me. Or look for me on Alignable, folks. If you're a business and you're not on Alignable, you should be. Come join the other 10 million businesses that are up there between US and Canada.
John is delightful and very genuine. So I encourage you to connect with John. Absolutely. Mhm.
Thank you.
I'm glad to be already connected with you. So,
And Kurt, how can people get a hold of you?
Oh, well, if you come to Milwaukee, you might actually, get a hold of me in the flesh here, and reach out a hand. We can handshake. No, I'm just kidding. So we got my phone number is 262-372-1754. Call and text me anytime you'd like. And send those emails to Kurt, K-U-R-T, at projectdiehard.org, and Google me, and you can find more ways to reach me on my YouTube channel at Ability Network. And we also have our podcast engineer here, Emily Golmer. She's our VA and scheduler as well. So if you reach Emily, you've also reached me, all sorts of ways. And if you get caught in the web of all that and still haven't reached me yet, let John know. He'll come and give me a reckoning and make sure that I get my conversation with you pronto. Back to you, Joe.
And I forgot one thing, folks. If you want to look at this podcast again or any of my other previous podcasts, simply go to YouTube and type in Mill City Marketing MA. You'll open up my page and most of my podcasts will be there. That does it for me. Thank you for coming, Fran. And
Oh, it's really been a pleasure. Thank you for letting me speak. It's a funny thing to be able to talk about yourself because you have so much in there that you want to tell people that, there's so much that I have to express why and what and how and all that. So thank you. It's been fun.
until next time, folks, remember every Friday, live at 5 Eastern.
Thank
Take it
you.
away, Emily. Bye-bye, Fran.
Bye bye, guys.
Yep.
I
Thank you.
Do I just leave?
You still recording?
Do I just leave, John? Or do I hang
Yeah.
out until you stop? Okay.
No,
All right.
you can leave.
Oh,
I
that's
know how to
fine.
get a hold of
I
you.
just, I'm just not sure what's the protocol at the end of it. So I'll be happy. Okay. Big hug, everybody.
All
Bye
right.
bye.
Bye-bye.